Hey guys, Al here, Vitalize Seed. Hope everybody's having a good day. Want to talk limes? It's a really frequently asked question I get, and guys will send me a jug of something. Hey, is this? Can I spray this to neutralize pH? So I wanted to do a video on kind of what kind of limes are there and what neutralizes pH and kind of how that happens in the soil, and try to simplify this. So from a liming material, you'll notice you have calcium carbonate, 100% pure. High cal lime or ag lime, which is again calcium carbonate. Liquid lime, again, if it's carbonate, you'll see that there in the chemical composition, which is CaCO3. Dolomite limestone or domitic, which is magnesium carbonate, and so on. Burn lime, hydrated lime, etc. I just thought this was interesting to share. So if you're interested in why is quick lime a little bit more expensive, it has to go through an additional process, which involves heating it up in a kiln. This little highlight here shows that it sometimes then is also has water added to it to make it less caustic, but it's still very strongly alkaline. So it's still going to raise your pH, and that's why they call it quick lime, because it is so caustic. But it does have to go through extra processes, which of course in manufacturing is going to cost more money. So on all lime, you're going to have a rating of CCE, which is calcium carbonate equivalent. This goes on to kind of explain what that is. But again, I think it's very critical that you realize that it says calcium carbonate equivalent, and that's going to be the rate at which it can impact soil pH, or the purity of that lime that we're putting onto our farm fields, gardens, food plots, etc. So that's something to keep in mind, because we definitely want to make sure that we're getting that carbonate element in calcium carbonate or magnesium carbonate that's going to impact our lime. And let's talk about why and how that works. So as I mentioned, you need that carbonate element in order for lime to impact your soil pH, and that's why the people who come up with the standards use CCE, calcium carbonate equivalent, to rate your purity of limestone. So on this graph, you can kind of see the chemical reactions. And it's really, I know this might be overwhelming if you're not overly familiar with chemistry. Or not real comfortable with chemistry, because it does get a little bit intimidating. But really all this is showing is our soil. We're adding the limestone, which is calcium carbonate, CaCO3. Once you add that to your soil and you have water, so rainfall, well, what happens? Well, that calcium is going to adhere to the soil. It's going to remove the hydrogen. So that's your acidity molecule. That's what's making that soil acidic. That's why we're adding lime. So it's going to push the hydrogen off. The reason is you'll see that the calcium is 2+ charge. The hydrogen is a singular charge. Well, now you have rainfall that occurred. So it allowed that calcium to split from the carbonate. You allowed your hydrogen to get pushed off the soil colloid or the soil. So now your hydrogen's free floating where that water is, as well as where that carbonate is. So what ends up happening is you have H2O and carbon dioxide form from the release of that carbonate element. Again, that's what ends up neutralizing the soil pH, not the calcium in and of itself, because that's what's flushing the hydrogen or your acidity molecule out of the soil profile. Just in an effort to explain that a little bit more, I found another chart that I thought did a nice job of showing it maybe a little bit more clearly for some, maybe not for others. Everyone's, I think, different level of visual learner, and this might just be a little bit easier to digest, but it's the same idea as just previously discussed. Your soil, the addition of the calcium carbonate or magnesium carbonate would also act. Magnesium is also 2+ charge. It's going to push off that hydrogen in the addition of water in rainfall, or in the case if you're irrigating or something like that in a garden or large farm field. Addition of water is going to leave us with additional water and carbon dioxide, removing that hydrogen, which is going to neutralize that soil pH. So hopefully you guys found that interesting. So be careful if you are looking at something that you're wanting to use as kind of a quick fix. Make sure that it is calcium carbonate, guys. There's a lot of products on the market, and there's a lot of darn good ones, and we could have discussions about calcium in and of itself and the benefits of that. But if you're looking to neutralize pH, make sure that you're using something that has calcium carbonate, so that you can make sure that you actually are neutralizing your pH for the amount of time that you want to. So hopefully you found that interesting. Check us out at vitalizeseed.com.